We're going to record from one way or another here. It seems like we're recording again, so we're going to try again. So, this is End.formants. END.formants. It's our world. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk.
And this is Lisa, and I'm Russell. Or it's the other way around. We
Vice
got to do
versa,
it back that way. All right, all
backwards.
right. So, we had a few things that we wanted to talk about. Where's our list?
Oh, you want me to pull out the list?
Yeah, so because I vaguely remember some of the stuff. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about was the Matthew Perry and addiction.
Yeah. Creativeness, I think we kind of covered that, but we kind of essentially have to go over everything again.
Exactly, because
So let's just start from the beginning.
Yeah, so the Matthew Perry thing and how it's hit. I think that this loss of life is more profound than a lot of the losses of life when it comes to celebrities. And one of the reasons is because he didn't keep it a secret. Like, he came out with the fact that he was an addict and he threw $7 million of his money to try to keep himself clean, and he just couldn't. And I think that really demonstrates. And he was somebody who was so well loved. I mean, how could you not be happy? And one of the things that if you hear his book or you read his book, he says that he made a deal with God that do whatever you want with me, just make me famous. He really thought that fame was going to take care of every insecurity that he had, because he came from a divorced family when he was, I think, 1 year old, and he was very jealous of the prime minister at the time of Canada because his mom worked for him.
Really?
And she was getting a lot of attention, and he would talk about times when he would be alone with his mom and the phone would ring and she'd have to go to work, and that he always kind of felt that, like, what did he call himself? An unaccompanied minor throughout his whole life. He used to travel to go see his dad. He lived in Canada with his mom, and he'd go and travel to see his dad in Los Angeles, and he'd have to fly alone, and he kind of always felt like that. So that was something that, I guess, through everything he was trying to do, it was trying to get that feeling away from him.
Yeah.
And all of the fame and all of the, I mean, Julia Roberts loved him. You know what I mean?
There's pieces of that so one of the ways that God works is, like, it's not just an upfront deal that obviously you make. There's obviously, a counteractive overall journey and goal that God has in mind. So I don't think that it would be such a shameful thing to view his life as a story, as a guidance, I think
that's what he wanted that more. Yeah. Like, he wanted to be remembered as somebody that tried to help other people. But when I say that his loss was so profound as far as with addiction, is because I think that the loss of his life clearly shows, if anybody thinks that, you have to have willpower, you have to have money, you got to come from a certain part of the tracks, or
That's
this
what
or
I'm
that.
saying.
Like, so what it's saying is, no, forget all that. It's a disease. And it really, that's where I think that maybe people now will realize that, addiction is a disease. I've seen it, firsthand. I've had my own problems many, many years ago. And like I said, I've worked in the jails and I worked in kids rehab, and nobody wakes up and says, I want to be a drug addict. And we talked about how stuff like that. His started. He had an alcohol problem. He started drinking when he was 14. But it wasn't until he was on the set of what was that movie with Salma Hayek, Fools Rush In. So it was probably midway through Friends, and he was in a jet skiing accident, and they gave him a Percocet or a Vicodin for the first time because of the accident with the jet ski, and he just thanked the doctor and said, "Wow, that really worked." And then the next morning he woke up and there was 40 for him. And then that person is totally partially responsible. Totally partially. I say how I cover my ass. They're totally partially responsible.
And I think that they're definitely taking some more protocols and standards to it nowadays. But
they needed to do that a long time ago, though.
Right, and depending on your money, and your access to a pharmacist, that changes the entire game. Because now...
Well, he definitely doctor shopped at some point.
Yeah.
Things are different now. You can't really doctor shop. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't doctor shop when Michael Jackson,
Right.
Was... And yet, people did the wrong thing by that. But, so these are celebrities, but, this is what happens when younger people, for the first time, like we talked about before, they have their knee cut open or they need stitches or something's going on.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this person that's never taken any kind of narcotic in their life, instead of giving them 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, they go ahead and give them a Percocet or a Vicodin or a OxyContin. And that these people that have, and everybody's got a fucking problem. So, I mean, that's just the way of the world. Everybody has a problem. So that's going to make that person feel better. You know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, you know what you're doing. These
100%.
drug companies, as you know, definitely know what they're doing as far as making addicts.
So I was watching an episode on Vice, and it was speaking about, drugs and the consumption of it, right, in the United States and across, the world. And that the problem and the commonality shared is not the issue with drugs, right? So the medicine that's actually produced and made has a lot of benefits if it's dosed and used correctly. And in more than not so, cases, you have positions to where you're not abusing it. If you're not abusing it, then you actually can benefit from it. And a good example is like fucking oxycodone, morphine, things like that, right? And those things are what's the other one? The horse tranquilizer.
Ketamine?
Ketamine. So that's even a really psychoactive drug that is used in therapeutic settings, but it's all about the dosage. And the one commonality that they share is humans, right? So it's like the problem with medicine is not the medicine. The problem with medicine is a human. And so we have to...
Yeah, it's definitely the doses and still,
but we
and
have
it's
to
also
view,
like prescribing this stuff when it doesn't need to be. So I had...
with the human aspect, I think what we need to do is start... Because obviously the pharmacists, the pharmaceutical companies are going to continue to push whatever they feel is going to generate the most profit in this capitalistic world we live in.
Right.
And one of the better solutions is figuring out what the piece and the element of the human is that relies and depends on this so heavily. In the series, in the fucking episodes,
We're talking about Kim Possible.
She always has these things where it's like, what's the stitch? And then her phone comes on and it goes, doo 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 doo, right? And that's like the jingle that goes on.
Right, with the phone.
So every time we see each other, she goes, what's the stitch? Doo doo doo. So,
and he doesn't know what the hell's going on.
No, he doesn't know what's going on.
Well, we're going to have to do something with this. I'm going to have to block a name or something, but I want to keep the groove going.
Yeah.
So I do want to say that we have 21 subscribers. We kind of came with 21 subscribers. We need more.
Hello, fellow 21.
Okay, hello, fellow. Yeah, but we want
we want more. Like,
subscribe. Talk to people
follow,
about us. Share, and hit that notification bell. I never thought I'd say hit the notification. Hit the little bell. All.
Yeah, everything.
Yes. Everything. Yeah. We really need this. We're trying to do more than moonlight here. So.
That's right.
Back to. So I don't know how far we got cut off.
Let's go to.
Well, I don't know how far we got cut off. So I wanted to say one more thing about the Matthew Perry thing.
Okay.
I feel like, for the first time, like a lot of people at one time, because a lot of people liked Matthew Perry. It wasn't like, and I don't mean to downplay or knock anybody. It wasn't like Kurt Cobain, where. Like, Matthew Perry came into the homes of generations of people. You know what I'm saying? So there's a few generations that have seen Friends. So he was on a bigger scale than Nirvana at the time. And I'm just using, that was a tragic loss, and I'm not too sure that Kurt Cobain killed himself, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying about Matthew Perry was he's been around for years. He was growing in, I mean, he was in his mid 50s. He struggled publicly, and said how much money he spent, how many times he went to rehab. And this shows, I think, clearer than anything, that this is a disease. It is not a choice.
Yeah.
It might have been the first choice to take that pill, but nobody deserves that for the rest of their life. Nobody deserves that struggle. I tried cocaine thinking I wouldn't like it. I didn't like drugs. You know, we're going back 40 years now.
Yeah.
And I had a 5-year coke problem. I mean, I fucking had a 5-year coke problem because I said, yeah, I'll try it, because somebody offered it to me, and I did it like to be like, all right, yeah, I'll try it, thinking that, yeah, I'm not going to like it. Yeah, they didn't like it. I loved it. So that was my problem there. But,
So I haven't had a personal relationship with, let's say, hard drugs, because nicotine is still a drug, alcohol is still a drug.
right.
But I still...
Alcohol can be really nasty, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
100%.
one of the worst, I think.
So I lost my father to alcoholism. That's a whole story on its own. But my battle is nicotine. Nicotine is something that I definitely want to kick. And I haven't used tobacco leaf nicotine in a while. I'm on the pouches. So that's a good step. You know, it's been 3 years. So I think I'm almost
I think it
ready
gets
to...
rid of the smell, right? I mean, but it doesn't get rid of the nicotine. Like, I used to be a smoker. I was a heavy-duty smoker.
Well,
I quit smoking 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
I did it through vape.
Yeah.
But
So I've always taken care of my teeth, my appearance, so I've never had an issue with a smell. However, the dip cans, the spitters, and tobacco alone, just when the kids came along, I was like, okay, it's time for me to realign and start thinking of some other
Right.
things. So my sister actually, we just went to Arizona.
Right.
So we were sitting there and we had just eaten, and she comes up and she taps me on the shoulder and she shows me her phone. And her phone said 17 days, $1,000 something saved. And she goes,
For 17 days, cigarettes?
Mm-hmm. She goes,
1,000? How much was she smoking?
A lot, like a pack a day.
Yeah,
So-
but that's not 17. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17 days, $1,000.
Pack a day? I don't know.
I think a pack's like $26, $27.
A pack or a
Yeah.
carton?
No, a pack. A carton's like 100 something bucks.
You can buy a pack of cigarettes here for about $12. You can't?
I don't think $12, no. Last time when I was buying tobacco, because I quit when I finally moved here. But
How much is tobacco in your state? How much is a pack of cigarettes in your state? Let's ask our 21 people.
Yeah.
Please put it in the comments.
Yeah, but last time I bought a can, so like in New Mexico, it's probably like a
I don't
real
know
tobacco.
how those are. I don't know,
This
but
is
I'm
six-
talking about a cigarette. I'm
this is
talking about a
$6.
pack of cigarettes.
Right.
I wonder
well,
how much they
I'm
are.
gonna tell you a difference. So this is about $6. Back home, it's about $4. Tobacco.
So
like
in
if
New
this
Mexico,
was
it's about $4.
actual tobacco, then this would have been about $3.50. But here, I would pay about $7 for it. So it's definitely more expensive here.
Yeah.
But yeah, a pack of cigarettes I think is like $26, $25.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I can't believe that it's that much money and people
I
are
think
still
so.
fucking smoking.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My last pack of cigarettes that I smoked, I actually splurged and bought a carton, and it was Sherman's. And it was the mint Sherman. And I loved them. And they were supposed to last me, but I lost my dog at the time.
Yeah.
And I fucking devoured those cigarettes. But I did quit,
Well, good.
so I did quit because I felt like if I started smoking after he died,
It was gonna be a spiral.
well, not just that, but it's like I wanted to honor his. I didn't want him to be the excuse to why I didn't quit.
That's good. A lot of people find relief in that,
Yeah,
So my
yeah,
sister showed me this,
Savings app.
I said, "What is that?" She goes, well, "That's how much money and that's how many days that I've quit and I haven't smoked." And she goes, "There's this book that I used," and she goes, "I want to give it to you." So it's called Alan Carr's, Easy Way to Quit Smoking Without Willpower.
Alan Carr.
Alan Carr.
Why does that name sound familiar to me? Is he an older guy?
I don't know. I just got the book.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
I'd
too
love
much
to
about
know,
him.
like, when that book was written. Because
Yep.
Alan Carr, that sounds like an
Yep.
old actor or
Something like that.
So, yeah.
Maybe. I'll look him up. And so the book is Easy Way to Quit Smoking Without Willpower.
There's one
You're gonna have to bleep.
Yeah, we just got a call at work. We actually are at work, but we have to cancel that. I don't know who that number is anymore.
I don't know. I think it's.
I think it's the yes.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And he's
working. Is he?
Like working.
No, I know. I don't even have a number for him. If God forbid.
It might be 137.
No. I'm not a smart ass. I'm talking about his cell phone number.
Oh, yeah, no.
That thing we do here. We do here. Another thing we got to bleep.
Yeah, bleep.
We don't do that. We stay awake the whole shift. I mean, anybody can tell you.
100%.
We got cameras around.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I close my eyes because just staring at the computer all day. But
all right. So,
okay, so
Alan Carr, and so the book talks about the psychological aspect of it and how the dependency on this is really not a withdrawal state. It's more battling the psychological aspect of wanting something and not having it. And when you understand kind of the interwoven reliance that you have on that, then it makes it easier to quit. So
let me just tell you that I think all that's bullshit. I'm going to tell you why. Because, I used to smoke, and I'm telling you, the last several months, because my dog was sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I smoked like a fucking fiend, but I'd smoke at least a pack a day. The thing about me was that I never smoked a full cigarette, but I at least touched 20 cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
And I wanted to quit. I just did. It was expensive. I smelt. I was getting ready to go to England. I was turning 50.
That's what he talks about.
And again, I lost my dog. So what I did was I decided that I have to treat the vape. I had to have a vape that, I still have them, that look like a cigarette, not the flat ones. Those I use for marijuana. The other ones were just like a cigarette, and I smoked them exactly the same way that I smoked a cigarette. So the only place in my house that I smoked, was my master bathroom with the window open, because live in New York, it's cold. And sometimes you don't want to go outside. But, I mean, sometimes I would go out on my deck and smoke. But most of the time, I mean, I would smoke in my bathroom. And that's exactly where I would smoke with that vape. I just treated it exactly the same way. And I've been successful for 10 years. I still use a vape, but...
Essentially, that's what he speaks about in the book, is the repetition of smoking, the habitualness of it.
Yes, you have to keep the habit.
Yeah,
exactly the same way.
But it was also, the smell and, the things that you want to change about it, but understanding why you want to change it. And that is what kind of breaks the chains of understanding how to quit. And it's not
as opposed to putting a Band-Aid on it. Absolutely, I agree with that.
So yeah, it's more of an
I think that the
in-depth
country doesn't
look.
smoke nearly as much as they did when I was growing up, and I have to admit that, because
well, I mean, social standards and
you feel like an
everything
outsider
changes.
smoking now.
Right, and you used to get onto a plane flight and you could smoke on a plane flight.
I used to.
You used to, cars were sold with ashtrays.
I used to.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
everything is completely changed.
And lighters, not just ashtrays. Bitch came with lighters too.
Yeah, right.
That you could burn yourself on.
Yeah, fucking spiral one.
Yeah. So okay, so let's go to the next one. I think that you will quit if you want to quit, and
absolutely.
And here's the thing, man. You could buy, I'm sure. Like I still have my nicotine vapes, but there's no nicotine in them. Okay. There's just the menthol. Yeah. There's like nothing, no nicotine or anything in it. It's just for, and I still, when I'm stressing, I go for that. Yeah. I definitely go for that. I have one in my car. I have one in my bag.
I want to kick it completely. I don't want to be.
I don't want to make it like that. See, I treated it, to be honest with you, I treated quitting smoking the way people go about, the correct way, I think, that people go about quitting drug. Like, I said to myself, I didn't lie. I loved smoking. So all of a sudden I hated smoking? No. Yeah. I was really real, and I said, and maybe one day I can smoke a cigarette, but not today. Yeah. So, and then there'd be times people would come through, down there, and I would smell cigarette. It smells so good. Now it's like, I fucking hate that smell again. Yeah. I don't like it at all, but... I would always just reach for my vape. That's what I'm saying. That vape just saved my life. And I never smoked it near as much as I smoke the
Well, essentially,
cigarette.
that's what this is.
I think my brother
for me,
does that.
You know, and it's
I don't know how you would switch from. I mean, you
It's
chewed
giving me
apparently.
release.
You chewed it. I mean, you didn't. Did you smoke cigarettes?
No, well, I have smoked
But
cigarettes.
that was your habit.
This is my
Okay,
habit.
okay. So that I
So
understand.
Yeah, my dad smoked and chews tobacco.
That's
so that
bad.
was like, it was
Yeah.
like a double fucking
Whammy.
Yeah, so
It ran the patch.
Yeah,
This
right.
one ran the patch.
Fuck. And he had a mint. So I
And he was in hypnosis.
yeah, I've tried the patches. I've tried everything else.
The patches
and,
cause great dreams,
Yeah.
but then after a while, they're fucked up dreams.
Right,
You gotta be
and
honest.
my skin started getting irritated, so I didn't necessarily like it. But this has been a great solution as far as weaning me off of tobacco. So,
Right.
but it's definitely a habit on its own to kick because that's pure
Tobacco.
nicotine.
Yeah, that's nicotine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, is there tobacco in there? There's tobacco in those
nope,
patches? No.
there's no tobacco. It's white. Yeah, I don't know. We're not advertising anything.
Yeah, we're not trying to do that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a white
I still want to
nicotine.
know how much.
It's nicotine crystal, nicotine crystal, and other food ingredients. So.
I gained weight since I quit smoking. I mean, it's been 10 years now. And so I was never, but what am I going to do? I still don't want to smoke. So.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So I gotta
You're
figure that
100%
out.
more healthy, even though you probably gained a little bit. But
Yeah, I think so.
you
Okay, so
definitely
let's
put
stop
some
this.
longevity on it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We're going to stop this and then we're going to go. We're going to do it again.
Starting with the next.
Yeah.
I'm crazy about you. Lisa.
That's all that
Welcome back
matters.
to Informants.
End.formants. END.formants. It's our world. Let's talk about it and subscribe, like,
Share, comment, post.
comment, post, and hit that little button, that
Ding,
little
ding.
bell. Ding, 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 ding. So the second part of what we're talking about now is, and it kind of goes hand in hand. It's a good segue what we're talking about. So we're not going to stay too much on it, but we're going to talk about ADD and ADHD, and we did talk about it, and we had a wonderful episode that I would just love to put up and put this soundtrack behind it, to be honest with you, because I really loved the last episode, but the audio is just, it did not happen for us. So we've had this conversation, and I think it was better the first time because we didn't know what to expect. Now we're trying to kind of catch up with what we talked about. So,
yeah.
But the ADD,
But I don't want to pass over creativeness.
Okay, so let's go there. Let's go there. So the reason why I wanted that there, just so you know, is because it's been said, and I don't know if it's been proven, but it's been said that people who are artists and more creative out there. By the way, we talked about Banksy last time. I have a great book with a lot of his stuff, and I was like, man, all this political stuff, like he did a lot,
I would love to look at that.
Yeah, it's a great little book. Because there was an exhibit here. So, in New York City, not right here.
In the house? Oh, okay.
No, I wish, man. Are you kidding me?
Right.
You'd be tearing shit up. So they say that if you are that type of person and very creative, like it's very easy for you. It's easier for you to be more sensitive and often take something to help with a feeling of either filling a void or making you think that you're more creative. So definitely, because there was a discussion about like how come movie stars and creative artists, are so addicted to drugs and taking their lives, and is it because of that? And that's what the psychologists have said, is that it seems like the more creative somebody is, the more vulnerable they are, the more sensitive they are, and the more that they're willing to see things in the world and things like that can hurt them. Not that this is an excuse to use drugs. It's not. It's just that.
Well, I would say if that's the measuring tool, then it has a lot of room for improvement. And I would say that because I would assume that if you look at the majority of artists and let's say from poetry to hip hop to entertainment and so on and
What's
so forth.
hip-hop? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So I think that to evaluate creativeness, you have to look at it as a whole, right? You can't just cookie cutter, one demographic, which is the entertainment industry, right?
Well, no. But they were no. So what they did was the test or the discussion was based on the entertainment industry. The question was, why are all of these artists, so many artists, killing themselves, either it be by drugs or just by, bad decisions or suicide, bad decision.
But that's what I'm saying is that I think that
it's got to be a bigger scope. But I do think
a bigger scope, but I think that
there's a lot of creative people that haven't made it.
Right, and I think that there's more people over time who have not gone down the drug path and not been so straight as far as just the entertainment industry.
Oh, absolutely. Or otherwise we'd have a lot less entertainers and such.
Right. So, I mean, to
I think that it's easier for them to get drugs.
Yeah.
We'd have to agree with that. Yeah. So, but that's not, the topic was the creativeness. It wasn't about how easy it was.
It might be the isolation, because you got to assume that their entire life is altered. They can't walk down the street. They can't, do normal things, and so that creates a
how do you feel about that? So I know that that's not on our list, but how do you feel about that? I feel like if this is the line of work that you're gonna sign up for, this is what comes with it. Yeah. And you don't have to respond when people put a camera in your face, and you don't have to answer questions, and you don't even have to be on for your fans all the time, because there are days. Listen, there are days when, look at my hair,
1000%.
Okay? Look at my hair. See, there are days when it's like, man, I don't want anybody to see me with a hat. I mean, I don't want anybody to see me. You have bad hair days, right? Yeah. Or maybe you have a few zits. You just have bad days where you don't feel like you look your best. The last thing you want is for somebody to get in your face and take a fucking picture.
Yeah.
So I understand celebrities when it comes to that, but they have to also understand that, hey man, you signed up for this. It doesn't make it okay, but you have to be able to put that somewhere.
I think that creates a tough segue for anybody that's come from nothing into something, and that's, you're taught in school how to work. You're not taught in school how to become a superstar and then deal with social pressures.
You're not taught how to experience life in school, especially nowadays, unfortunately.
You're not even taught about loans and interest rates. And
you're not taught how to live your life. Yeah. No, you're not. You're 100% right.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic.
We can talk about education at some point. Yeah. You have kids in school. I had a step kid. I would love to
talk about that.
I have... And my own, what we did a little bit, so we were talking about, are you done with the creativeness?
No. Okay. So when it comes to the individual, I think they are definitely granted that space to take that time to not be okay, to not answer in front of cameras, to become isolated. However, you have people like Keanu Reeves that rides, New York subways and sits out in public, and because they don't want to lose that connection. So I think
you think that's it?
Up to
You think that's why he gets on the subway? You don't just think it's easier to ride the subway in New York City?
100%. I think so.
Well, there's two questions there. There are two separate questions.
That's 100% to both of them. Yes. I think that one, as a
there was a video of him. So believe it or not, I like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't really care for the way he used to talk. Like he always was like. I didn't, and that used to get on my nerves. But I really have grown to like him since I've seen like when he picked up the airport people and he gave them. But there's a video of him, and it's recent, where he just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah.
And he even said no, and it was shocking because he's really like mellow. But I think somebody crossed the line, and he was just like, "What do you want from me?" Like, and he was just. He wasn't mean. He wasn't nasty. He was like, "What do you want from me? Like, I just want to be left alone today. Can I just be left alone today?" And he should be able
reaction.
to.
I think that if anybody,
I've never seen him do that.
I think it's a normal human.
I think it is too, and I give him so much credit that he
because what he does and the level of fame he's reached,
Yeah.
and then still be able to get
And
on
he's
the train.
been through some shit. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I mean, like he
So
lost.
my mom was a huge Keanu Reeves fan back in the day for like Matrix.
You know,
and
he
stuff
lost
like that.
an ex-girlfriend of his, and they lost a baby together.
Oh,
and
man.
so they lost a baby together, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
then they broke up, probably because of that. You know,
Yeah.
that's hard. And then she ended up in a really bad car accident where she was messed up on drugs. So it's like it was involuntary suicide, and so here's a guy that had that, and I want to say that there was another loss before that. His sister, who is still alive, that he's very close with, has cancer, and he has helped her throughout her struggles with that. So, you know, and no, I like Keanu Reeves, and I don't think that anybody, I just don't, I think that there's a way to handle things, but people have to respond too. When you first say, no man, just leave me alone, that's when people just need to say, give them a break, you know what I mean? Just, okay, walk away.
But that's not, so there's
There's
a contradiction in that
happens.
too, because TMZ pays you to get, you know, an outrageous view on an entertainment.
Yeah, you could go ahead and take his picture, but when the guy didn't want to talk anymore, listen, you could take a picture with those fucking cameras from a mile away and be up the guy's nose.
Right, but what they want is for that reaction.
The reaction,
and
of
then
course.
they can sell that off.
But why? They only want that reaction because people
gravitate to it.
are buying it.
Yeah.
Now, how sad is that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other. How sad is that?
It comes down to people wanting to view this person that's idealistic, that is above normal standard, and see, you know,
But that's not the truth. You don't think they're above normal standard. I don't think they're above normal standard.
They're definitely a different group of human. Yeah.
No, they just have more money.
No. It takes something special to become Michael Jackson. It takes something special to become Larry Bird. It takes
Okay, so how did we get to Michael Jackson and his dance moves?
Because I'm saying that.
Okay, so you're talking about iconic as opposed to actors.
No,
Michael Jackson,
even actors, absolutely.
But Michael Jackson was iconic,
so,
and still is iconic.
So, Washington.
Keanu Reeves, I don't think is iconic, though. Absolutely. I think he's a good actor. No, he's not iconic.
Well, he's not iconic, but
exactly.
But he's.
But I think he's a brilliant actor.
He's above average.
He does his job really good. What else does he do? We do our jobs really good. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but we're not in front of. It's not a demanding task 24/7. It's not something that requires a high level of understanding and education and critique and technicality that goes behind it. It's
acting?
not some. Oh yeah.
You know, I used to write scripts.
Actors go through school of acting.
They don't. He didn't go through any school of acting.
There's other actors that don't go through school, but still at the same time, you have a camera that is focused on getting the most precise, best clip and scene out of you, right? To create this entire movie. So that entire span of the movie that you see for an hour was actually filmed over 6 months, and they did hundreds of hours of film, and you have to be ready and prepared for that 24/7.
No, you don't have to be ready and prepared. That is so untrue. But okay, no, you don't, because you're not filming 24/7.
No, you're not filming 24/7. But when cameras roll and cammers are on, you have
that's
to go.
doing your jobs for so many hours of the day.
So my father,
and being ready to be into to get into a character. Listen.
So my father transported movie equipment for movies in California and Vegas, and across the western, countries.
Part of the country,
yeah.
Right.
And so while he would do that, I met I don't know if you know Michael Shannon.
Yes.
Yeah, so I met Michael Shannon, which was cool. I've met Nicolas Cage. There's other people, but the way that it works is that they set trailers for the actors, right? And then at any point in time, they can come up to that trailer and say, "Hey, we're ready to roll.
We need you in this scene, right?"
Exactly. And so it's a 24/7, ready to go, from person to character.
They're not living in their trailer when they're done filming for the day, or when they're done filming for the night. No, they're not. They're staying in hotel rooms.
So you have segments of where you're filming, right? And in those places of filming, they have
During
so
the
much time to
time.
go back and sleep, and then it's right back to filming.
That's
so
correct,
much time
but,
to do
but
this,
they're
and then
not
it's back to
sleeping
filming.
there overnight if they're filming during the day. I know this.
Well,
I mean,
film doesn't just last for one day. They
no,
usually
no, no,
film.
no, no. But I know. But the trailers are on set when they're on set.
Yes, and
the
when they're-
trailers are
when
there.
they're
But
on
when they're
set-
not on set, they are going
100%.
to a hotel
Yes.
at night and stuff.
But while they're on set, it's not just for one day or a couple of hours. They're
I
there
know.
for multiple
yeah, but
days.
they're not. Right.
They're there for multiple days.
Right. And sometimes, depending on how often they're in the film, they might spend most of the day in the trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would assume depending on.
I mean, so they
character,
have a
depending
trailer.
on, yeah.
They have a trailer,
Mm-hmm.
but so they're probably one of the main characters, but they might not be in every scene of the movie or every
they're in
scene
the
of the
majority.
television show
Right.
or every scene. Yeah, I'd still think that. Listen, I think that there's very good actors, and I think that there's not so good actors, but I don't think it's such a demanding job. I think what's more demanding is what the public expects from you. That's what I think is more demanding.
Well, that's the piece of it too. That's what makes you an entertainer, right?
No, an entertainer, that's not what makes you an entertainer. I disagree with that.